Guys, it's November 11th, 2020. I'm Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop Flosstube, and we are wrapping up FQS Stitch-tober. Super excited. I got a lot of energy the last 2 days and decided to finish everything except one so that I would be kind of like 4 days ahead. And the reason I decided that is Emma has something this weekend, and when I saw the schedule and all the things the moms were doing, I realized I would have no time. So I went ahead and moved my schedule up a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I finished and what I have left. So this is Let's Talk Autumn by Hands On Design, and very excited because the winter version is coming really soon, and so I'm going to make that also. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it now or wait until Jolly July or Mania. So I finished this. I used all of her called for colors, and these little stitches right here, the little blue, are Smyrna's. And I really like this. I think I'm going to frame it. I think I'm going to take it to the framer and just do a simple white frame like she did. I'll probably do a little bit fancier frame that has some kind of scroll, but I'm super excited about it. Now the last thing I have left to do is, in here, is I still have enough thread left over, and I need to make the little pillow. So I'm gonna make that. I'm gonna start that today and hopefully finish tomorrow. And that's what I have left. So I'm so excited. I just love this. I love the thread. I love that this pattern didn't use very many threads. So it really didn't cost a lot to make. It's very few threads. So I really enjoyed it. I love doing text. So that is my first, well, this isn't really my first finish, but this week's finish. And then my next pattern that I finished was so easy. It's called Autumn Typography by Pine Mountain Designs. And Denise did a thread pack for me, and we put Sandra's versions and then my version. So if you're stitching, you can follow that. And I finished. Very easy, and I picked my own colors. I don't know why I picked my own colors, I just did. I think that her denim was a little bit too blue, and on this one I haven't decided. I would love for you guys to tell me what you think I should do. I have a couple of options. I was thinking of either framing it or adding some fabric this side and making a pillow and putting some rickrack in between, or sending it to Priscilla. The reason I haven't done a pillow is I can't find a pillow this size, and I honestly just don't want to take the time to do a pillow form because my pillow form would be lumpy. So I haven't really decided how I'm going to finish this one, so kind of just waiting. This one was super easy, and the only back stitch was in the football, so that makes it super easy because as you go, you're pretty much done. So finish that. And then the very last item is the November Trucking Along. And so I finished October. I am going to start September this weekend because I skipped September. So we can't skip September. And as I was stitching this, Kevin was cracking me up because he said, oh, you only have a couple more days. And I was like, oh, I have a lot more days. So he was like, are you going to put it up this year? I was like, no, not this year. So I made a lot of changes, and I made a lot of mistakes in this. And it was because, you know, I was a little bit stressed out. Something was kind of going on. I kind of knew it was going on. I kind of knew that I should say no, but I didn't. And so I got a little frustrated, but I couldn't put it down because I needed to finish it for work. So I'll tell you what I changed, and then I'll tell you my mistake. So there's a little basket here. I just moved the basket right here. That's the first thing I did. And then I put Piggy here. And this is the Piggy that Priscilla has on her blog, which is priscillas2000.blogspot.com. And I used caramel and black coffee. And the only reason, sometimes for the Piggy, which is my dog, I use tea and biscuits. And the reason I didn't is because the tea and biscuits is on the truck, and I thought it would look kind of funny. So you always do the black coffee. I changed his collar color. On his collar, I changed it 5 times. First I did white, then I did yellow, then I did green, and then I finally just settled on the red. I kept pulling that out. The other thing, and that's all that I changed. except you can see right here when I went to center the top and the bottom, because it's two separate pieces, I didn't do it right. So I'm one stitch to the right, and so I don't think anybody's gonna notice this, but over here I was 2 stitches off. So it would have been like funky. So what I did, I'm gonna kind of try to show you what I did without showing you the pattern. This is called the Kimberly's version of Photoshop. So I copied the pattern, copied the pattern, pasted it with tape, 2 stitches over the whole side. So this whole side, I did a little thing to make it match. So I kind of had to move all this over 2 stitches, and I don't know how to do it. So the only way I copied it, Priscilla knows I copied it, I taped it on top and just kind of messed up some stuff in here. Nobody will know. And the other thing that I did is I outlined the entire truck in bamboo. It's not supposed to be bamboo, it's supposed to be tea and biscuits, but I was stressed out over one of my kids, and you know, it's really hard to raise kids, and I just didn't really know what to do, and I probably made the wrong decision, but whatever. So I had to, Saturday night, start picking all this out and then restarting. So that was fun. Oh, and I did change here. I did change the truck. Oh my goodness, I changed the entire truck. So the truck is yellow. So I made the truck red. But when I made the truck red for the little flags, I changed the red that was in the flags to yellow. So this is definitely a little Kimberly hodgepodge mess of it's finished, and I think it looks great. But I did waste I wasted a lot of time trying to fix this, picking this out, redoing his collar. I just really, sometimes I feel like when you're working with something and you make one mistake, you just keep making more and more. And usually if that happens, I will just set the project completely aside and just come back to it later and I'll be totally fine. But on this, I obviously needed to finish it so I could show you guys. So I think that's why I struggled with it so much, is because I didn't give myself a chance to set it aside. And I even thought about redoing this whole side because this wasn't lined up, but I showed Lori and she was like, do not pull that out. So I decided not to pull that out. Plus, I think it would have just been kind of a mess. But it looks good. I really like the turkeys. I think they look pretty cool. We used to live near a turkey farm, so it kind of reminded me of every time I would drive from my house to my grandmother's house, we would pass this huge turkey farm. So that is my Stitch-tober. And I'm going to show you Lori's now. So Lori is doing the Stitch-tober with us, and Lily's going to pop up her photos. The very first one is called Thanksgiving Comes Again. The designer is Prairie Schooler. We carry that pattern, and she's doing the one on the right side of the pattern because the pattern has 2 pieces. She stitched it on her 25 count Farmhouse Lugana that we also sell. And so she's actually going to stitch all the way to the end of November. So she's going to have even more to show. And that has a turkey. It's so funny. That turkey is like brown with a big old red gobble thing. Her next one is Saltbox Quilt Sampler by Brenda Gervais from With Thy Needle and Thread. We have the pattern. That pattern was released at Nashville Needlework Market this year, and very popular, and inside it's very Quaker and very quilty. She stitched hers on 32 count cloth from her stash, and she is using the called for floss. Now when Lori stitches, she will change thread from time to time. So when she's doing the inside, she could change her thread. She will put all of this information on her YouTube because she's going to do a Flosstube once a month, and she'll put pictures on her Instagram. So that is kind of like the little wrap up of Stitch-tober. I obviously have to make that pillow, and I'll talk a little bit more about what I'm going to do with that pillow and what you can expect in the next couple of weeks to see from that pillow. And, but let me know if you have any questions on Stitch-tober. I'm really happy with what I finished. I do feel really guilty that I finished October and November of the trucking along and haven't done the September. So I'm like determined after I do the, after I finish that next thing that I go back and do September, because it just really is like bugging my little organization system. And I did get the January kit, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. I got that as part of the club. So in December, I'm going to do December. I'm going to try to do September, and then I'm going to let myself do January.
Okay, yes, we have a few questions that have been coming in. First of all, Lori Holt said, good morning, Stitchy friends. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning, Lori. So I'm going to Lori's house next week. I'm landing Monday, and I'm leaving Friday. So I'm really excited. I think I really just need this time to get out of my house. And just, I'm going to go to her house and I'm just going to stitch whatever I want to stitch. I'm not going to stitch for work. She's not going to stitch for work. I'm just going to step away. I haven't had a vacation. Not that I need one, but I haven't had a vacation in over a year and had a break from work in over a year. So I'm just going to try to not work. I know I will work. That's kind of impossible for me to not work. But I'm going to do my best to do a little bit less work.
And for the piece that you wanted to get everyone's opinion on how you should finish it, the most popular top 2 answers have been frame it or send it to Priscilla.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Priscilla and Chelsea say your trucking along looks amazing, Kimberly.
Oh, I didn't even tell them all the mistakes I made. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my gosh. I like ripped out part of the truck and showed them, but I had to rip out the whole truck. Mm-hmm. And one of my sons was like, what are you doing? There's thread everywhere. I'm like, oh, just whatever. I'm like, if it gets in the bed, I don't care.
Question from Janae Combs. How many stitches do you skip between the heading and the bottom pattern?
So I have done different. On some of them, I leave 1 stitch between the top and bottom, and sometimes I leave 2. It kind of depends what I think will look best based on how heavy the bottom of the top is and the top of the bottom. So I kind of just guess. And the very first one was super hard for me to do, and I had asked Priscilla what she thought, and she said, oh, just do 1. And so on that one, I did 1, and then the next one I couldn't remember, and so I just kind of do 1 or 2.
From Colleen Fritman, is there a special tool to pick stitches out?
There's going to be real soon. Ooh. Right now, what I use is my needle and scissors, and I did cut a little tiny prick of my Aida off. But I covered it up. I mean, let me tell you, that piece was probably the disaster of 2020. I just really struggled with it. And it's because I had something going on in my personal life. And I just was like, I don't know. I think I would have been better off if I would have talked to somebody about it. But it was the weekend. And so I was like, well, I don't want to like call my friends on the weekend. So, yeah.
Okay. From Pamela Betcham, which floss has the white that shows up best?
It really depends on the fabric you use. So I don't use 5200 very much. That is the whitest of the white. Blanc is lighter, and 3865 is between the two. I use 3865 in white a lot. The 5200, for some reason, because I use black a lot, I think it's too bright. But they're all so different. And I like bamboo the best from Classic Colorworks, and I like whitewashed from, it's either Gentle Arts or Weeks Dye Works. Is it Weeks? Mm-hmm. So I like whitewashed also.
Let's see, from Jean Waskowski, on the sampler Lori's working on, why isn't there a letter J, or did I not see it?
Okay, I think that was left out. Okay, go back to it. I think that was left out, and Sandy Gervais said why. Yes, okay, so I think that the letter J was left out on purpose, and I think that Brenda talked about it in a video or on Instagram or something, and there is a reason why. I don't want to speak for her, but it's something historical.
Oh.
I think maybe the J wasn't originally in the alphabet.
Yeah, the J's also not in one of the Bent Creek ones.
Yeah, it's also not in one of the Bent Creeks. So it's something to do with the original American alphabet. I don't know that much about it, but I know that there is a reason.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Lily's gonna figure it out.
I'll
I'm
figure
just
it
kidding.
out. I'll let you guys know next week. Or not next week, but yes, we'll get to that. Lori Holt said, "Bring it here, Kimberly, and we will make a pillow out of it. Easy peasy."
I know, but then we'll be working. I kind of thought about that, and I was like, but we'll be working. Maybe I will bring it. But yeah, we're trying. We're going to really try and just have Starbucks, Cafe Rio. She said I could have Cafe Rio every day. See, Lily.
I'm jealous.
So I was talking to a sales rep. So we have one sales rep. He hasn't been here, but he keeps traveling. And we're like, you need to stay home. But anyway, he said when you go to Salt Lake City, it's going to be different. They've changed the terminal, so it's totally different. And I said, oh, it is? And he said, yeah, you walk really far. And he was explaining it to me. And I said, oh, did you go to Cafe Rio? And he was like, what's Cafe Rio? And I was like, you haven't lived unless you've had a Cafe Rio.
Yeah.
It is so good. Like, if they had that franchise here in Texas, it would go nuts. So I told her that when I land, the very first meal we have to have is Cafe Rio. So I've already told her and her husband, so we're having Cafe Rio.
What about that bakery with the really good bread?
Oh, yeah, we're going to go there too, but I don't know
Okay.
what it's called.
I forget what it's
Do you
called,
know what
too.
it's called?
I know, but they have a really good chicken salad sandwich.
Yes.
It's like the best thing. Sorry, I've been dreaming about the sandwich since the last time I was in
It's
Salt
so
Lake City.
good. It's the bread, right? And it's like
Yeah.
thick. It's like not sourdough, not white. I don't know what it is.
Somewhere, yeah.
In the middle.
between. Yes. Lori, please let us know what that place is called. Okay, question from Sandy K. On your site, there's a thread collection called Be Merry of Weeks Dye Works. Is that for a particular pattern or just a holiday collection?
That is a... Can you go to...
It's the classic Colorworks Be Merry.
Okay, so it's the classic Colorworks Be Merry. I think that's one that Priscilla and Chelsea just put together so that you could get kind of a combination of their Christmas threads.
And then we converted it.
Yeah. And we converted it to weeks because we were having trouble getting the classic Colorworks. So we just did a version of it with weeks dye work so that if you are somebody who's working on any of Priscilla and Chelsea's Christmas stuff, that you kind of have a bag, like a starter to start with. And we just did that because I think we do have the classic Colorworks now in stock though. But it was just a way to tide people over because I don't like saying no to customers.
Lori said, I think you're talking about the Village Baker.
Yes.
Yes. That's
And
the
they
one.
have good dessert. So, like, I'm really bad about food. Like, I like to eat. Let me tell you. Like, I don't want to say I like to eat a lot, but I am very picky about my food. So, I'm going to tell you a little story. This weekend, we're going to Horseshoe Bay. It's only 45 minutes away, but she has to be there at like 7 in the morning. And let me tell you, I'm not getting up at 6 in the morning and driving her and sitting in my car all day. So, we're going to Horseshoe Bay Friday. She competes at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then she has the dance classes at like 7, 8, and 9 or something. I don't know, something crazy. She'll be busy. So I was like Googling, is there a Starbucks in Horseshoe Bay? Because I'm like, I'll have a headache. I will have a headache. I drink so many a day, I will have an instant headache. Well, I guess there's a Horseshoe Bay in like in Oregon or Washington. That's like the home of Starbucks or something. And so I was like, so I never got to the bottom of, is there a Horseshoe Bay? So if you live in Horseshoe Bay, I would like to know if there's a Starbucks or a Chick-fil-A because I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to have to drive 30 minutes to Marble Falls to get me a tea. Because I'm very picky about my food. Like, I know where everything is. I even was Googling yesterday. This is how bad I am. I was Googling, like, Horseshoe Bay. What's in Horseshoe Bay? I've never been there. So I'm like, so I watched this guy drive around the city. I didn't see anything. Like, I didn't see, because, you know, there's people that do YouTube channels, and all they are is to put the little camera on their thing. Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't see it. I watched like 30 minutes. I was like, there's no Starbucks. There's no Chick-fil-A. I might die. I don't know. It's really, but that's just kind of one of my things. And I think it's, it's one of my things. Like, if you ever travel with me, you know, like, Lily knows, like, it is all about where everything is.
Yes.
Everything has to be in its way. I know where all the food is by Lori's house.
Yes.
It's right. I know the Starbucks is right by my hotel. Mm-hmm. Can drive through, get our Starbucks.
Yes. And the first thing she does when we get off the airplane in Salt Lake City is go to that Starbucks when you're about to pass security.
Yeah, you don't pass. And then there's one downstairs.
Yes.
I know where every Starbucks is anywhere.
Yes.
There's nothing. So I'm not like really have anxiety. So I'm already thinking like Friday, okay, we're going to leave at like 10 in the morning. Okay, I'm going to get 2 Starbucks because that might tide me over till like the nighttime.
Yes.
But I don't really know.
I think that's a good plan.
And then I was looking, I will say I was looking, is there a quilt store or is there a cross stitch store in Horseshoe Bay? And I didn't find anything. And then I thought, well, maybe there's something in Marble Falls, but I don't really find anything. I really didn't find anything on anything. I was like, I think we're going to the middle of nowhere. I've never been there, but I don't know what's there.
Well, if you're familiar with the area, please
Yeah,
let us
somebody
know.
email me and just tell me like where everything is, because I've really spent like a lot of time on it. And Kevin was like, "Are you really Googling?" Because I was looking at it on Saturday. He's like, "Are you really Googling that?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Yes.
yes." He really does not understand the obsession with Starbucks. This morning when I was leaving, Emma had to go to the orthodontist because she got braces and 2 of her little things broke. So Kevin had to take her because I was doing a live stream. And so I said to her, I was whispering, I was like, "Hey, make Daddy stop at Starbucks to get you Starbucks," which she never does. And Peyton said, "Did I hear Starbucks? Are you going to get me Starbucks?" I was like, "No, I'll bring you some home later."
Aww. Okay, question from Grammy Love. I just bought the last skein of Winter White Gloriana's Bellagio Silk Floss. How does the size of a skein of that compare to DMC skein?
Okay, I've never used it, but Janice is going to look it up real quick, and we'll
you.
see. I know that sells really well. It's 12 strand, so it's double the thread because you get 12 per strand instead of 6. And it's 6 yards. So if you compare that, DMC is 8 yards. So it would be more because you get the 12 strand. It would be 1.5 times more than DMC, if I'm doing the math right. Classic Colorworks, it would be more. Maybe 1.75 times. I don't know, something like that.
Also, Jerry Reshier says Starbucks located in the market at Horseshoe Bay Resort Marriott.
Well, that's where I'm staying. So there you go.
There you go. Thank you so much,
Thank
Jerry.
you. Oh my goodness. I hope it's open. Yeah, so we whenever I go, I just stay wherever the dance is, but I've never been to this dance convention. But when I got the schedule, I was like, okay, Emma's gonna be worn out. I'm like so excited. I'm like, maybe she'll just be so worn out that she won't be able to talk. Because she talks a lot.
Aw.
Poor thing. I mean, it's okay. I'm just being a smart aleck. I don't know. I'm like really hyper today or something.
All right, and before we move on, a comment from Pokey Little Pineapple says, I'm proud to share with everyone on this day I am a vet who served in the U.S. Navy. To all my fellow vets, happy Veterans Day.
Yes, happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day from us here as well.
Yes. One of my uncles served in Vietnam. Both my father and my father-in-law were in the service. And he was not my grandfather, but he was more of a grandfather than my real grandfather. He was shot down at the age of 18 over Japan and served prisoner of war, and was always, it stunted his growth, so he was like really small. And an interesting story about him, I swear it's true. He like starved for a year. He never talked about it. We never asked. It was like an off-topic subject, which was totally fine. But my dad traveled with him a lot. They like to travel together. And my dad told me, he said, you need to watch what he does. If there is anything wrong with the food in a restaurant, because my parents always ate out, so there is a reason why I am so picky about my food. He told me, he said, if you ever see him eat something and stop eating it, you know that it's bad, because something happened in that prisoner of war where he knew. And one time we went to dinner and he didn't eat. He said, no, something's wrong with his food. And everyone got sick except him. So something happened in that. And I was like, man, my dad was right. Yeah, but he was, it definitely, yeah.
But yes, thank you for everyone who has served for your
Yes.
service. And we got a super chat from Valeria Bauer. I think it was about 2 hours before we went live. Thank you so much, Valeria. Super chat for $19.99.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you. Much appreciated. Yeah, I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, she's in there already. This is great.
I probably
That's
wasn't
hilarious.
even at work yet. I let the snooze button go for like 30 minutes.
That's funny.
Okay, so I want to show you something that I am going to be working on next week, after I just told you I'm not going to be working, but I am going to be working a little bit. So I'm going to show you one thing. This is a sew-along that we will be doing next year. It is called Sew by Row. It's designed by Lori Holt, and we're gonna have a sew-along. So Lily's gonna show you the dates of the sew-along real quick. The dates that are listed there are the dates that you should have the row completed by. So you have plenty of time to get started. What I thought I would do when I'm at Lori's house is I am going to just do the very left side. So I'll do 1 scissor, 2 pin cushions, 1 sewing machine, 1 star, 1 iron, maybe 2 or 3 spools, and a couple, maybe 2 fat quarters. So what I'm going to do is just have it all ready, the left side done, and that way each week all I have to do is complete the row, but it's already started and I've already counted everything. So that kind of is the hardest part, is going from one row to the other row to the other row, counting and kind of getting everything lined up. So I feel like if I get this done, then it's going to make it super easy. So this is Lori's. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to show you kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, I'll put it right here. So I cannot decide. I keep changing my mind. This is the Weeks Dye Works floss, and I'm going to use DMC. So I've already got all my DMC on my little floss flowers, because that's half the battle, is getting that. But, okay, and here's the pattern. I've got it all in my little bag. Here's the pattern. So you have 2 thread options. You have 1 pattern, 2 thread. Just, you can decide what thread. Denise is laughing at me. But I keep changing my mind on this thread, on this fabric. So let me show you kind of my options. So it was stitched with Cloud 25 count, and it looks great. That's Lori's fabric. This is another option, Shadow 25 count. I said that 2021 was going to be the year of Aida. So it kind of eliminates these 2, even though I'm still have them in my bag. This is Fabric Flare Antique White 14 count. So I think this is a really good choice. And this is Shadow 14 count by Lori. So I'm going to take all of this, including the white, to Lori's house, and then I'm going to decide. Because the last thing I want to do is get to Lori's house and change my mind and not have fabric. So I just cannot decide. And I know I told Lori I was going to use this. I can't decide. I keep changing my mind. But when I come back, I will have the left side done. So that is one thing that I'm doing. And I'm keeping everything in this cute little bag by Crosshatch Quilts. She has a YouTube, Flosstube, and she sells bags on Instagram. So I'm going to put everything back in my bag.
Pokey Little Pineapple said, "Hey, I thought you were only going to stitch on 14 count next year, Kimberly."
I know, that's why I have these 2. But I am going to sneak those others in the bag. And there is a Witchell also, but it was not the right color. So yeah, I placed a bunch of orders yesterday to, and I kind of want to do Weeks Dye Works too. That's kind of the problem too, but y'all voted for DMC. So I'm torn. I don't know. If it's a project this big and this much time, I really want to make sure that it is what I want. So that's going to be fun. We're going to do that next week. But I want to let y'all know. So if you're interested in this, go ahead, get your pattern, your fabric, and your floss. And if you want to, like me, you can go ahead and have that part done. And this was stitched by Cheryl. And if you are a quilter, we also are going to have something that ties with it. So the cross stitch was based on this pattern called Sew by Row by Lori. This is published by Riley Blake. And because we're doing the cross stitch, that is the sew along from January to February, I decided that we should do a block of the month program. So Nova spent hours and hours, and we converted this from the shabby basics to the B basics. And Lori, of course, helped us. And I went ahead and stitched the first row. So if you're a quilter, this is what you're going to get in your first block of the month. And I did these on Sunday morning. It only took me like 3 hours.
Wow.
Uh-huh. super easy. It's all corner squares. Everything is a corner square. And then these are what we're putting an insert in that tells you what fabric goes where, so that because we converted it. So if you're a quilter, you could do this also. I just wanted to kind of do this, kind of show you what it looks like. That is going to be a block of the month. That's 8 months. It ships from March to April. And so I'm going to have both. I'm very excited about this one just because I'm going to have both together. I think I'm going to figure out a way to hang that quilt in my sewing room and the cross stitch so that it makes it very matchy. Right now I have the charity quilt that we did like 3 years ago hanging in my sewing room, or 2 years ago, it needs a revamp. So let me know if y'all have questions on that. I'm super excited because to me that kind of will pull together a sewing room.
Yeah. From Crafting a Planned Life. Oh, love it. Will it come in a box?
No, it won't come in a box. But it will come with the DMC thread that you need to do the iron cords and all the buttons.
And then Ginger Giant said there is a Chick-fil-A in Marble Falls. That's the closest.
Okay, how far is Marble Falls from there? Tell me that. I mean, like, I gotta know. I gotta know. Plus, like, I don't want to pay for hotel food for her, for breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's not something I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. If I want to buy something fancy, I'm going to go buy me a fancy purse. I'm not going to spend it on hotel food. Or shoes. I'm not spending it on hotel food. So I got my budget. Mm-hmm. I got my priorities in line. I'm really bad today.
That's funny. And then we had 2 super chats that came in. First from JP Thompson for $4.99.
Thank you.
Thank you, JP. And they have a cat as their profile picture. It's
Aww.
very
Kitty.
cute. Yeah. And then our next super chat was for $25 from Goose Design Denise. And they said, have a great weekend from Denise and Miss Gracie. Meow.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I am, I don't really like to get out of the house, but at the last dance convention, everything was so safe. I mean, everything. I couldn't even, there was 100 girls there. Nobody got sick. Everyone followed the rules. And we've had some cases at the studio, 2 cases. Didn't spread to anybody at the studio because it's a certain kind of mask and it just really covers right here. And it just is so tight and it has little pulls. So the girls, there's no spit coming out of there. So I wanted to show you Prim Stitch series. This is number 5. And if you are in the Lori Holt Prim Stitch series pattern club, this shipped to you. And now the pattern is online. And so I stitched that and Lori finished it. This is her medium frame that she painted. She used her Be Natural lace, and these 2 fabrics are from the Prim fabric collection. And on the back, we are now listing the color of paint. So this is Pitchfork. This is the color Pitchfork. And we're listing that. There's a fancy car driving by. I'm going to show you the others also. And these are the ones that are stitched individually, and then Lori is stitching hers as a full piece, and we have that as a pop-up in a second. This is number 1. Let's see, this one is number 2. And if you want to see someone that is stitching this as a whole, that is doing it 1/1. Jan Hicks is doing it 1/1 on 25 count and stitching Mommy. They both are doing it 1/1, which is really awesome. I don't know how to do that. Jan Hicks was going to show me, and then we started talking, and I couldn't stop talking. And I was telling her all about Chewies and food and
Chewies.
Yeah, I was like, I know where we're going to lunch, and she was like, how do you know where all the food is? I'm like, yeah, that would be me. And then I'm very, very, very excited. This came on Monday. So this is brand new. And this is the Prim calendar. So this goes along with what I just showed you, which is the cross stitch and her free quilt along that is on her blog and Riley Blake's blog. Riley Blake had this printed. I'm going to flip through every page to show you. We bought a limited number. So if you pre-ordered this, it's shipping out to you. If you didn't, what we have in stock now is what we're going to have. So I'm going to flip through and show you. This is how the months look. Of course, no detail is left out. But I'm going to flip and show you. It's so pretty. And so I need to hang this in my office. I love the texture that's on the... And the paper's really nice and thick, and it's not glossy. One thing that Lori does that she really pays attention to paper quality, the gloss on the paper. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I want to live in that house. I can tell you a funny story. So where we're going, some of her friends have lake houses there. And she was like, oh, would we ever do something like that? And I said, oh, no, if we had a second house, it would be a quilting cottage, and it would just be mine. Nobody else could come, and it would just be quilts everywhere. And she was like, yeah. She's like, oh, that doesn't sound very fun.
Oh,
that's okay. And then there's Lori. So excited to see her on Monday. And then she has kind of an overall. I'm very, very, very excited about this.
yes. Real quick, I'm going to pop up Lori's
Yes.
garnish picture from Prim Stitch series.
Sorry.
And then I'll also redo the pop-up of the schedule for Sew by Row in a second.
Okay, so that's through number 5. When she started, she went ahead and did the entire border, which is available for free on our website and our blog, and she's just filling in. Now, just a little tidbit is her and I have stitched through number 9. 10, 11, and 12 have not been stitched yet, but we're going to do those in January.
And here is that schedule again.
And so again, that is the date that you need it finished by. So we will start on the 6th, will be when you start. And I mean, if you wanted to, you could go all the way down the left and do the first row and then be caught up. Now, the one thing is those back stitches that are in between, I will do those at the very end. I'm not going to do those until the very end because I kind of thought that through also. And on the quilt, those irons, they have embroidery on them. And I'm going to send those to Lori or Cassidy. Cassidy is Lori's daughter, and she will do it. I'll just send her a little Venmo. She'll do it for me.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, and I have to see the dog when I come, Lori. The dog has to come.
Toby.
No, a new dog.
What?
Yeah, so they bought a dog, and it's Cassidy's dog, and it's a miniature toy poodle.
Oh my goodness.
It's like that big. She showed me this weekend.
Oh.
So the dog has to come and hang out with us.
What's the dog's name?
I don't know.
Oh, Lori, what's
I forgot.
the puppy's name?
I'm not
excited.
good. I knew you were going to ask. I was like, I don't know the name. I should know the name.
Yeah, well, Toby's the other one, right?
Yeah, Toby's the
Okay.
one that growls.
Yeah.
Toby is like, when you
grumpy.
pet him, he growls at you.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
That's funny. Okay. Question from Crafting a Planned Life. Is it possible to list what size would be if using 14 count cloth? I think for the Prim Stitch series.
Yes. Can I have the pattern? Oh, for that? Oh, Prim Stitch series. Okay, that is all on our blog. And there's even a cutting guide. So everything should be on our, Denise is going to tell me how to get to it. If you type Prim Stitch series border layout, you can click into the product and say download free pattern, and everything is there. Right?
Just the 25 count.
Just the 25 count. So what you would do for 14 count is, Denise is going to do it, and she'll tell me I'll go to the next question, and she'll tell me if you do a 3-inch border, so add 6, we'll tell you what you need. Sorry.
Princess P. Holly Martin is asking, is the Sew by Row schedule available to download from the website?
The blog will be out in December.
The blog for that is going to be out in December. And yeah, so that'll be out in December. I'm just getting myself ahead of time.
Okay. And Kathy Longo said, Horseshoe Bay and Marble Falls are 14 minutes apart by car.
Oh yeah, Chick-fil-A, here I come. So you need a 20.5 by 25 inch piece of fabric on 14 count if you do a 3-inch border. I usually do a 2-inch border so I can get away with a fat quarter.
Oh, Lori says the doggy's name is Missy.
Missy.
Oh,
So Missy's
Missy.
gonna come over. Does Toby like Missy? I wonder if they like each other.
Oh, I hope so. Oh, I love puppies.
Lily, she just should on our animal rescue.
I should. One
But
day,
then she wouldn't
maybe.
be able to do my videos.
Well, see, I'll do the videos, and then we'll have enough money for the animal rescue. Then we'll film the animals, and then, anyways,
She'll teach the animals tricks.
there we go. We'll have a YouTube channel, anyways. Question from Sharon Vocal: Do you all have any tips or ideas for scrap organization for leftover pieces of Aida that's large enough for other small projects?
So what I do is when I get my piece and I cut it, I will just fold the piece up and then I just put it in a little plastic bin. And if it's like 14 count chalkboard black that I use all the time, I just throw it in there. But if it is like lamb's wool or beige, I will keep the little piece that comes with it with Witchell, and I'll just put it in a plastic bag and keep that in there so at least I know what color it is. But I just kind of put them in I don't have that many leftovers, but I just put them in like a random plastic bucket. I do try, one of the things that I try to do is I try to only buy for stuff I'm going to actually use. So I try not to have too much leftover. Try is the key word.
Yes. And Lori says, yes, Toby does like Missy.
Aww.
Yay! Oh, happy days. Okay, and before we move on, 2 super chats. First one from Susan Summers for $4.99. Thank you so much, Susan. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then our next super chat is from The Red Thimble, and it's for $10. And they said, thank you all for the inspiration, motivation, and positive vibes you and your team always give us no matter what is going on in the world.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate
Yeah, I
it.
don't turn on the TV. That's one thing. The only TV that comes on in our house is wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't even know what to say about last night's wrestling match. I just don't even know what to say. On Tuesday nights, there's 2 channels that have wrestling, and they alternate between the 2. So they have one TV on in the living room and one TV on in my bedroom, and they go. And then when it's commercial, they come in the other room, and then it's really ridiculous. So I wanted to let you know in December, we're going to have an event called Jolly Housewives, and it's going to be with me, Priscilla Blaine, and Chelsea Carter of the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, and we're dedicating December to stitch all of their charts from Stitching with the Housewives. And I've selected my 6 patterns, and I'm going to do a video. We're going to release it next Monday on November 16th, and that is going to have everything that I'm doing, everything that Priscilla's doing, and everything Chelsea's doing. And I have some ideas here for you for some of the things, but you'll want to check out our YouTube channel on Monday to find out exactly. Now, of course, we have our Jolly Housewives shirt. We have the Stitching with the Housewives project bag that goes with it. So that is how we're kind of kicking it off. And I'll show you some of the things that you could stitch. This is the very first thing, and I'm super excited because it showed up in time. I was a little bit concerned that it wasn't going to show up in time. This is the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher Winter Magazine. Their pattern is right on the cover. It is Winter Berries. We have a thread pack and we have the magazine, and you can also buy the magazine digitally off of the Punch Needle website. So there are going to be 4. This is like the 3rd in a series of 4. So that is the first thing we have that I will be stitching in Jolly July. Sorry, Jolly Housewives. Oh, and here it is.
Ooh.
It's so pretty. And so this is a bow she made. She glued this down. This is the Priscilla and Chelsea, Priscilla's Pretty Plaids. This should be coming in stock pretty soon. So pretty. And then this one I thought would be great to show because this pattern just came in stock and I had these at home and I stitched these as part of Jolly July. And so for stores that want to be able to carry the ornaments, they put these two together. So you can either buy these individually as a PDF on Fat Quarter Shop or you can buy it as a paper pattern. So cute. So that is an idea for Jolly Housewives. This one is also an idea. This is so cute. Oh my goodness. I can't even believe how cute it is. But if you want to see it in real life, here it is. Oh my gosh. So Priscilla, you got to buy this tray for me so that you can finish mine the same because I love it.
Oh.
It's so pretty. And they stitch on black Monaco 28 count, which is no longer available for purchase, but just so you know what they do. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. The little snowman or reindeer snowman. They're so cute. I want to have this.
This is a reindeer snowman.
See, they have
Oh
little
my
ears.
goodness.
It looks like Piggy.
Yeah.
And then this one, I'm also going to do as part of Jolly Housewives. I love this. Oh my gosh, wait till you see it. So, this fabric is Aqua Dyed Effect. So I'm going to use Aqua Dyed Effect. I believe this fabric was, actually I know it was. This is Monaco that she dyed, Rit dyed with evening blue Monaco, and then she tea dyed on top of it after. And you can find a video on how to do that on the Stitching with the Housewives YouTube channel. And oh my gosh, this is so cute. It has so many cute things. So I'm definitely going to do this as part of my Jolly Housewives. And then this is also, I just got this in my office and thought I would show it. So this just shipped to our club members. Any kits we have left over will be online. We haven't really had very many left over recently. And here it is, all kitted up. So what I do, the very first thing I do when I get a kit is I take everything out of the plastic bag. The floss, the pattern, and my fabric. And so I'm gonna do this as part of Jolly Housewives. It's so cute, and I'm gonna hope that when I do this one that I don't make as many mistakes as I did in November. And this bag is from Goose Designs on Etsy. And I know it's not Christmas. I will put it in a Christmas bag, but this morning I didn't have a Christmas bag to put it in. So let me know if y'all have any questions on Jolly Housewives. Basically, I will tell you everything in detail in the video that's releasing on Monday. But my idea is I'm gonna start it kind of around Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna stitch all the way up to Christmas. And I'm gonna do very similar to Stitch-tober, where I do a section each day.
From Bumble Stitches, are the Stitching with the Housewives patterns all available as PDF, please?
So everything is available as paper, and then 6 weeks later, it's available as a PDF. And we do sell all of their PDFs. So some of these are available as a PDF right now, and some are not. And they basically just email us and then say, load this day. And so that's how it works.
From Ellen Sharp, any Lori Christmas patterns in the works?
Yes, it is. We have her next set of stitch cards is at the printer. Should be in stock, and if you're in the club, you're going to get it. All four are Christmas themed. And I'm thinking about stitching that next week as one piece also. I was going to call Lori later on my way to get my hair cut about what I'm thinking of doing with that.
And then a few people are asking, because of the magazine, what is punch needle and is it the same as cross stitch?
Can I see the magazine? Okay, so punch needle is a technique I will show you. I have no idea how to do it. So this is punch needle. I have zero idea how to do it, none. But in here there are these two are punch needle, these two are cross stitch. Punch needle, cross stitch. So it's kind of got a combination of both. Let me see if there's any other photos that I can show. Here's the intro. So here's an ultra puncher. That's how you do it. No idea how. Yeah, you stab it like that. They're both telling me, but I don't know how to do it. And I don't think I would. There you go. And there's their doggy.
Oh.
That's Ronnie.
Okay, and Princess P. Holly Martin was asking, how is Sweet Piggy?
Oh, he's good. He had to go to the vet last week, but his results were good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but he's just back on like some kind of antibiotic that, because he's a pug, so their stomachs are all weird, so he's on some kind of really expensive antibiotic. Should be good. The problem is when I go out of town, my kids feed him whatever. They feed him things like cookies, not chocolate chip, but they do feed him things, and then he gets sick, and I'm like, no, you got to stop feeding him that stuff. So yeah. Okay, so I want to show you some whips. I don't have any this week because I was doing Stitch-tober. I've already shown you all of mine, but I want to show you what some of us or some other people are doing. So this is the library as part of the Spooky Hollow series by Little Stitch Girl. And Christina is stitching this. And she stitched the number 6 on 14 count Icelandic gray Aida. And she changed her floss from DMC to Cosmos. So we listed what she did in our comment section if you want to change your colors to how she did. So that's our first whip. And then our next whip is by Cheryl. The pattern is Mayflower Landing by Little House Needleworks. She is only doing this section right here, the bottom section. She is stitching on 32 count Swiss coffee linen from Color and Cotton from her stash. She is using the called for floss. So cute little people. So that is one of Cheryl's. Her next one is Gobble by Plum Street Samplers. Is this new?
Yeah.
It's a new pattern? Okay.
New to us.
New to us pattern. On this one, she's stitching on 32 count ivory linen from her stash. She's using the called for NPI silks, and you could substitute with any kind of neutral fabric. She's getting a lot done. And so this is NPI silk, so you can see that she just is going across and then she'll cross her X's on the way back since it's not hand dyed. And then the next one is from Deborah. She is doing First Day of Christmas by Hello from Liz Matthews. And you can see she starts in the top right. So a lot of you guys ask, where do you start? And everybody's different. I usually start top left or bottom left. She's starting this one top right, so you can kind of see. She's right here. She is using NPI silks and 28 count even weave from her stash. You can tell it's even. So those are our whips, and now I'm going to show you a framed finish. So this is from our club, the Snapshots Club. This is June, and so we have shown you January through June, so you'll know exactly what you're getting. They're all Pine Mountain Designs patterns. We do an insert, sorry, with our DMC color conversions, and here it is. It looks so good. I love it. I'm so excited. So this is just a standard 8x12 frame from Hobby Lobby, and on a video that we did, we tell you exactly the frame number. So those are our whips and finishes. And let me know if you have any questions on any of that. I'm trying to keep everything flat so I don't mess up anybody's stuff. So one thing I did want to show you, Lily's going to pop up the image. And this is actually something that's kind of a preview. So Stitching Joanne posted this on Instagram, and she is using our brand new Scissor ID tags, which are right here, and holding her fabric. So if you want to see how you can do it, you just put the little tags here. They're magnetic scissor tags. You can use them on cords. That's what they originally were for. We have them labeled paper, thread, fabric for scissors, but you can use them for this. And actually, Cheryl has already asked us to make one for cross stitch because she uses these, but the ones that we make for cross stitch are going to be different. They're going to have a skinnier and longer cord, and you can use these. I use Wonder Clips, but I will have to try these. And the good thing about this is if you use this, you can pop your needle on it and it will stay. So if you're like me, I lose my needles all the time. Don't ask me how I know, because Kevin gets really mad. Why is there a needle on the floor? So that is super exciting. So did want to let you know we are making one for cross stitch, but give a big shout out to Stitching Joanne, who is also doing that. And I want to show you just some new patterns, a couple of new things that we have. Dazzling Deer, Holiday Home, and oh my gosh by Golly. And we also have something new that I'm very excited about and forgot to show last week, so I'm so embarrassed that I forgot. But Lily is going to pop those two up. There are two brand new patterns from Priscilla and Chelsea, and this is the first one. It's called Snow Delivery. It is available as a PDF, and all four of these are going to be released. 2 are on our site now. 2 will be the consecutive weeks after this. They will all be similar colorways and be snowman based. I have decided that I'm going to do these as part of Jolly July 2021 because I think if I fit them in now, I'll have a heart attack. This is the second one that Denise loaded this morning. It's called Snow Cottage. And it's 2 little elves. They're so cute.
Snowman elves.
Yes, so I'm going to do those as part of Jolly July because I just couldn't fit them in this year. And then I want to tell you a couple of things. So on Monday, November 16th, which is next Monday, we're releasing a video on our Flosstube channel at 9 a.m. It's going to talk about what I'm doing for Jolly Housewives, what Priscilla's doing, and what Chelsea's doing. And we will also have a blog post on it with details. Now, next Wednesday, there will be no live stream on this channel because I will be in Salt Lake City. But on Wednesday, November 18th, we are releasing a finishing tutorial for the Let's Talk Autumn pillow, which is what I need to finish in the next 2 days for the very last thing for my Stitch-tober. We're not gonna turn it into a pillow. We're gonna turn it into something else. So you'll have to check next Wednesday to see what we decide to do. And then on Friday, next Friday, we are also releasing a finishing tutorial on this YouTube channel, on the blog, sorry. Next Friday on the Jolly Jabber blog, we will have a finishing tutorial for this. And this is a very plain wood piece from Hobby Lobby. All of the details will be in the blog. Denise and Lori worked together on this, on how to come up with this. So this is Lori's pattern, Lori's rickrack, Lori's fabric, and Lori and Denise did this together. So this will be on our blog next Friday if you want to make it. And then the Wednesday after next week is November 25th. That is the day before Thanksgiving. I'm not doing a video the day before Thanksgiving. So instead, we are going to release a finishing tutorial of this. And it will be on our Flosstube channel. So you'll have to miss me the next 2 Wednesdays. I'm so sorry, but we will have videos to replace the live stream. And we will be back on December 2nd. And on December 2nd, we will be right in the middle of Jolly Housewives.
Yay.
Yay! So there's a lot going on, a lot behind the scenes, but we're working hard to really just bring you a lot of content, a lot of different things, a lot of different designers, different fabric, different everything. We just want to show you, all the different things. So, guys, I hope y'all have a wonderful next 2 weeks. I'm going to miss you, and I will see you in December, and y'all have a great time.
Bye, everyone.